The Gilded Age was a period during the late 19th century that allowed big businesses and inventors to thrive. Writers such as Mark Twain and Charles Dudley Warner called this era the Gilded Age, to satirize the unrestrained greed and corruption prevailing in the marketplace as well as the federal government. During this time, the United States experienced rapid economic growth and circulation of advanced technology, unfortunately at the expense of the working class. Corporation owners such as Andrew Carnegie, Andrew W. Mellon, and John D. Rockefeller often took advantage of their workers by subjecting them to tough competition in the workplace, hazardous and unsanitary conditions, and paying them very low wages. Journalists who began to expose the maltreatment of workers by corporation owners acquired the nickname muckraker. These journalists often associated with the term muckraker because they metaphorically raked the muck or corruption off of the streets of the cities where large business owners once had monopolistic control over. One of the famous muckrakers of the Gilded Age was Ida Tarbell, who had a personal agenda against oil tycoon John D. Rockefeller. Tarbell authored the series, which later became a book titled The History of the Standard Oil Company, in order to expose Rockefeller's mercilessness in forming the Standard Oil Company, America's first major industrial monopoly.
Mr. Rockefeller, I would like to have a word with you.
I have not a word to share with you, Miss Tarbell.
Now you listen. Not even the grimiest worker under your monopoly is as filthy as you are, Mr. Rockefeller. Can't you understand how much corruption you have bred within the oil industry?
I believe in the dignity of labor, whether with head or hand, that the world owes no man a living, but that it owes every man an opportunity to make a living. My workers are merely doing what is expected of them, whether it be to rig crude oil or to refine it, which may entail accumulating some dirt on the job. I have not forced them to work for me. There are always more who can replace them, and they are very much aware of that.
Our national life is on every side distinctly poorer, uglier, meaner, for the kind of influence you exercise. Your business in its entirety has been founded upon the principles of greed, ruthlessness, and corruption. You have crushed small businesses, left consumers no choice but to purchase your oil, and bribes government officials who have the power to pass laws regulating your unjust business practices.
It is due to the influence I exercise that America's economy is growing in an upward spiral. In the business world, greed and ruthlessness are crucial in order to thrive. The growth of my business has been dependent on the creation of a monopoly. Nevertheless, I set the price of the petroleum that I was selling at a very fair and affordable rate. Therefore, I see nothing wrong with my business.
That is preposterous. You have been exploiting people with the high petroleum prices you set into place. The way you do business by creating a monopoly has forced people to buy from your company, Standard Oil, a pure money pit that has robbed people of their hard-working money. You have committed fraud and you should be penalized for doing so. Your business should be shut down.
Business is business. You cannot claim that I am a thief, for I have founded the Rockefeller Sanitary Commission and donated more than $500 million of my earnings to a variety of educational, scientific, and religious causes. Research under my funding of the Sanitary Commission has allowed for the eradication of hookworm disease across the southern portion of the United States.
Indeed, it is true that you have contributed back to society. However, the institutions you have founded and causes you have contributed to are funded by the dirty money that you have earned through your corrupt business practices.
You, Miss Tarbell, are a poisonous woman, a parasite. You seek to draw the substance from my Standard Oil Company while obliterating the success of capitalists and are persistent in your quest. If you possess any good morals as you claim you do, then why do you seek to destroy the industrial success that America experiences due to the businesses like my Standard Oil Company?
The American people have the right to know about the truth behind the Standard Oil Company and its success. You are a very prosperous man who owns an extremely successful company. Doesn't it appear quite suspicious? Doesn't it appear that something must be going on? It's obvious based on my research that you took advantage of your power by overpowering and monopolizing the other businesses that were once in place.
My success should not be viewed as suspicious. I earned the position I currently hold. Hard work has contributed to my substantial earnings. I am not riding off the back of the American public. I am building the business from my intelligent, self-derived tactics and wealth. Yes, I have borrowed some money from people, but the majority of the money I used to expand my business was my own.
I'm sure your success is mainly a result of your scheming. Nevertheless, I have heard that you have got men to spy on those companies that were at one point in competition with you through bribery. This tactic was purely ruthless as you are. Also, I understand that you have made various agreements in secret. You have forced rivals to join the Standard Oil Company by threatening them of being forced out of business. It is so obvious that you have acquired an enormous amount of fortune at the expense of others. I was initially appalled. However, I am not in shock any longer because I realized how greedy you are and how you would do essentially anything to make more money and eliminate your competition.
How dare you accuse me? All you are doing is complaining about me and ridiculing my actions. I am very certain that you lack business experience, and I will be very frank with you, Miss Tarbarrel. You have no business criticizing a corporation owner who has overcome many obstacles in his path to success. Have you any accomplishments to be proud of? Why do you have this vendetta against me?
If you seek an apology from me for discrediting your reputation, Mr. Rockefeller, I will not give you one. I stand firm in my belief and research that you have taken advantage of the companies smaller than yours. You have ridden on the backs of smaller businesses solely for your best interest.
The American Beauty Rose can be produced in its splendor and fragrance only by sacrificing the early buds which grow up around it. I have told this to the students of Brown University, and I will tell you this, Ida. In the business world, those weaker, less profitable companies will perish as stronger, valuable trusts take their place and expand their borders.
You have just proven my point. You have monopolized other companies simply because you view them as weak. That gives you no reason to put others out of business.
Without the Standard Oil Company, America would not be where it is today. My company has transformed America by making huge contributions to the economy.
I understand that you have contributed to America's prosperity. However, this was done through illegal means. Therefore, it shouldn't be admired, but rather should be frowned on, and you know it. You are just trying to avoid addressing that you are a fraud. You are going to have to come to terms with yourself and realize that you are not the person who you portray yourself as. In fact, you are a criminal.
Nobody is perfect. I am not perfect, nor are you. Nevertheless, I am not a criminal. If anything, I am an upstanding citizen in America who has pursued the opportunity to form a flourishing business and improve our nation's economy.
I said it earlier, and I will say it again. The public needs to know the truth about you. Your business practices, as well as the ways in which you earned your money, are dishonorable.
Only I know the truth, and that is that I am an honest and prosperous man who has done a lot for America. I understand we have a difference in opinion. I think we are going to have to agree to disagree.
You insist that you have positively impacted America. However, that does not make up for your dishonorable tactics you have used that allowed you to get to the position you are in today. You should not be proud of yourself. You said you have helped America, but you actually hurt America. You put so many people out of jobs, you have deprived people of what they worked hard for. And yes, I guess we will have to agree to disagree. Just remember, you have not done right by the American people. This conversation between Ida Tarbell and John Rockefeller did not end on good terms. Tarbell accused Rockefeller of being a thief due to the fact he deprived the American people of their jobs as he monopolized the oil industry with the creation of his corrupt company, Standard Oil. On the other hand, John Rockefeller avoided discussing his misdeeds and instead was more willing to boast about the positive impact he has made. Clearly, Tarbell won this combative debate. Tarbell had a stronger argument and supported it with more convincing evidence. In addition, Tarbell gained the support of the Supreme Court, which ruled the Standard Oil Company unconstitutional. This ruling led to the breakup of Rockefeller's monopoly into several smaller companies. Rockefeller helped improve America by upping its prosperity. Nevertheless, the methods that he used to do so were completely unjust and unfair. As an example, he set the price of petroleum higher than it should have simply because he had the power to do so. In other words, his domination of the entire oil industry allowed him to control all that was involved with it, including setting the cost of petroleum. This gives further reason to why it was right for Tarbell to win. This would make him be portrayed as weak and inconsistent to the picture he painted of himself to the public. He gave the American people the wrong impression. Nevertheless, the public believed him because he was a powerful figure in America, and he continues to be viewed as one today. Rockefeller was one of the richest men in the world. Money provides people with power. Rockefeller took advantage of this power. His greed and ruthlessness promoted his wrongdoings. Tarbell was right in her conviction. Although Rockefeller deceived many people on his path to success, he is credited with contributing to a variety of charitable causes.